Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about our second step of chemical quantities, measuring mass, and converting it with the mole. After today, you should be able to calculate the molar mass of a substance and use the molar mass to calculate the mass of a substance given, and then the number of moles and the opposite. Atomic mass is on the periodic table. The atomic mass, or the mass of a single atom, is in atomic mass units, or AMUs. So when we look at a periodic table, that is in atomic mass units, or AMUs. One example is when we look at carbon, it says one carbon atom is equal to 12.01 AMUs. The molar mass, we again look at the periodic table. The molar mass is the mass of a substance, of 1 mole of that substance. It is equal to the atomic mass in grams. So any of the elements are on the periodic table. 1 mole is equal to that many grams. So whatever the atomic mass is at the bottom. For carbon, it's 12.01. For oxygen, it's 15.994. Whatever is at the bottom, 1 mole of that is equal to the number of grams. So far, we have spoken about just elements. But what happens if you have a molecular compound or a molecule? We have to calculate the molar mass of every compound. So in this example of a compound, we have aluminum 2, sulfur 3. So we have aluminum sulfide. So this is telling me I have 2 aluminums, which is why this 2 is up here, and 3 sulfurs, which is why this 3 is up in front of the S. So I'm going to look at the periodic table. Our first one we're going to talk about is aluminum. If you look over here, we're going to round this to 2 digits. So instead of 26.982, I'm just going to say 26.98. No, I have 2 of those, so I'm going to write 2 times 26.98. For my sulfur, I'm going to have 3 of those, so it's 3 times whatever the sulfur is. Sulfur is 32.06. So I'm going to use my calculator and calculate both of those and then add them together. So using my calculator, 2 times 26.98, which is 53.96, and then 3 times 32.06, which is 96.18. My last step to find the molar mass is to add them together. 149.34, and that's grams. Okay. Our next example is what is the molar mass of barium phosphate? So I have 3 bariums. And remember, if it's outside of the parentheses or if it's inside the parentheses, this 2 goes to each one. So this is telling me I have 2 phosphors and 8 oxygens. So that's how I got these number outside. Now I'm going to look at my periodic table for barium. Barium is over here. Its atomic mass is 137.33. So I have 3 times 137.33. For phosphorus, I have 30.974. So 2 times 30.974. And for oxygen, I have 8 times 15, well, 16. After we rounded, 16. So 8 times 16.00. Go ahead and use my calculator to multiply those and then add them together. Remember, this should only have 2 decimal places, so it's just 97. And then our oxygen, and I'm going to, of course, add all those together. 601.93 grams. So what that tells me is that 1 mole of barium phosphate is equal to 601.93 grams. Now I'm going to be able to use that to convert from grams to moles or moles to grams. Okay? So here we have, what is the mass of 1.33 moles of barium 3 phosphate? So my known, my unknown, the mass. So I'm going to go from moles to grams. I start with my known and put it over 1. Now, remembering what we had on the page before, we need to use that as a conversion factor. Because moles is on top here, moles is going to be on the bottom for our next one so that they cancel out. So it's 1 mole of barium phosphate is equal to 601.93 grams of barium phosphate. Then I'm going to multiply and get my answer. Moles is going to cancel out, and I'm going to be left with grams. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply that in my calculator and get 800.57 grams of barium phosphate. And that is my total answer. So in these examples on this homework, you're either going to have the molar mass over 1 mole or 1 mole over molar mass. Remember to match whatever you have over here on the bottom, and you should know which way to go. Our next example is how many moles are equal to 157.8 grams of calcium chloride. Our known, what we are given a number for, 157.8 grams of calcium chloride. Our unknown, question mark, moles of calcium chloride. So in this example, we're going to go from grams to moles. We need to go ahead and figure out the molar mass of calcium chloride. Remember, we do that by looking at our periodic table. So we have 1 calcium. Calcium's molar mass is 40.08. And then we have 2 chlorines. Chlorine's molar mass, we need 2 times 35.45. And we're going to add those together. So I have 40.08 plus 70.9, sorry. My molar mass is 110.98 grams. Okay. So I'm going to start with my known and put it over 1. Then I have grams on top, so I know my grams are going to be on bottom. And on top, I have 1 mole of calcium chloride. So if it's on bottom, I know I'm going to divide, but my units are going to cancel out. So when I do this, I have 157.8 divided by 110.98. My answer is 1.42 moles of calcium chloride. Okay. So let's review for a second. You guys are either going to use molar mass over 1 mole or 1 mole over the molar mass. You're going to go back and forth depending on what is in the top, what you're given. Remember to match the given to the bottom. We need to cancel out our units, okay? So whatever's given matches the next bottom. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if I can help in any way. Have a wonderful day.